So I have a few friends on Wattpad that are feeling kind of down and out about their books right now, and I didn't want to really try and express it in words because it's just so much, but I just kind of want to let them know these things, and that we all go through that little period of time. Sometimes it's often, sometimes it's not so often, that we feel like we're not doing anything for anyone, and our books aren't changing lives, no one's reading them, and no one cares. And honestly, I felt that way lately too. Not to like as big of a degree, because I've been really focused on the one right now, and I just kind of have been very like tunnel vision, whatever. I've had tunnel vision about the one right now, so it's just I've been blocking everything else out. But I want everyone to know that your books mean something, and they mean everything to you. It doesn't matter if anyone else reads them, as long as it helps you through something, because that's normally what writers do. The successful writers, they follow trends. They follow, they write stuff that is immoral to my standards, and a lot of people just eat that up, and it bugs me, because if you walk away from a book not feeling anything afterwards, not learning anything, then what was the point of the book? That's what I want to know. And I feel like, from where I stand, all of the books that I've written have done something and helped me, have done something to me and helped me, and that is something I can't, like, that can't be taken away. That's something that all of the books do. Even frickin' The Haunted Mansion, which I wrote when I was 8, I wrote that because I wanted to start writing. I wanted to finish actually something, because before that I wrote short stories. I wrote like the first chapters of books I wanted to start, of stories, and I wanted to write it because I wanted to start writing. And that kind of opened the doorway to all of my other books. And yes, it freaking sucks, and yes, it's out there and crazy and really, really random, and sometimes not really able to like be followed or anything, but it did something for me, to me. And from there I went to Crystal's World, I went to Labyrinth and Katrina Billowson and all the ones in between that I'm missing, that I can't find anymore. And I even wrote Animorph books with me in there. Thank you. Like, it did something for me. It made me happy. And then whenever I started writing Trapped, I hadn't written anything for like 4 years. It'd been a long time since I actually wrote like an actual book, an actual story. And whenever I started writing it, I was feeling really, really excluded and down on myself and cast out and just different from everyone else. And I think those are the things that get picked up on in Trapped. And you know, I was excited about something again. I was so excited. I was bursting at the seams with how the story was gonna go. I finished up Trapped, and I started Wipes immediately right after that, and I finished it in less than a month. And then Grounded took forever because I suck at writing trilogies, and the third book always takes me so long to finish, and I think that's because I have to say goodbye to the characters. But what Trapped did to me was bring my love of writing back. It brought my creativity back. It brought just a new perspective on myself. And there was a bunch of things that were going on that were paralleling with my life that I didn't really realize until I took a step back. And I heard Lois Lowry say, she was talking about how she doesn't really have a script for what she writes. She doesn't really do a draft. She just likes to see where it takes her, because a lot of the things that authors write, it parallels with their lives. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's so freaking right. There's so many things that are going on in my book that parallel with my life. Oh my gosh. My brain just kind of went, psh. So it's, I know Trapped isn't one of my bigger ones. Like 95% of the people who go to my profile and watch these videos have no idea I wrote Trapped. They know I wrote The 100. That's about it. The 100 and Sameness, if people like Sameness. But, like, no one knows about Trapped. But it's the book that started me back on this path. And, oh my gosh, it just took off from there. I couldn't stop writing. I loved it. And no one reads Trapped. No one reads the series. It's a trilogy. I finished it in this, like, December 2014. That's pretty much it. And I published it on December 31st, 2014. Like, I know the date, and I'm very, very bad with dates and names. But, like, it did something to me. And I know that no one would really read Trapped. I know. Doesn't help when my face is on it, and my face looks kind of funky, but you know. It's just... That was my cat. I know this doesn't seem like I'm going anywhere, but I'm trying to explain it. And, like, moving on from that, I wrote The Vampire's Carnival, and that's the first book I ever put on Wattpad. That is the first book I put on Wattpad. I know I've said that twice. But The Vampire's Carnival is something, I wrote the first 3 chapters in high school, like my freshman year. I wrote that and Katrina Billowson. And so The Vampire's Carnival kind of opened up more doors. Like, people actually liked The Vampire's Carnival. It's my cousin's favorite book that I've ever written, although she hasn't read much of my other books anyway. But besides the point. And that book, that's something that I wanted to continue, but I was like, I don't think it needs to be. Because it does resonate with you, with the lessons that are learned in it, and the things that are said in it. It really helped me with my self-image, because she goes from being a perfect vampire-looking person thing to a person. And people are not perfect. They don't look perfect. They don't act perfect. They are not perfect. And she is so flawed. And there are so many things that just it helped myself. That did. And then Harold the Fairy, oh my gosh, I love that fairy. He's so sassy. I don't really have sassy characters, and that was one of them, and I love it. So, just moving on from that, there was the Unnamed, and there was the 100, and then there was a bunch of other ones following it. I just finished my 30th book, and I just recently hit 10,000 followers on Wattpad, and I know that's something I never thought I would, but that's somewhere I would never thought I would be. I'm getting to my point, I promise. So, like, I having all these people actually read my books, or know that I write books, or whatever, know my name, or at least for a slight, like, if they were like, oh yeah, that sounds really familiar, like, that is something I could not fathom. Honestly, I have never wanted to be famous. I just wanted to do what I loved, and I'm doing what I love. And I think that's the entire thing, and I know I've harped on this a few times. And I just want everyone to know that even though you think no one is watching, no one cares, no one is reading, no one is commenting, no one is voting, no one is following you, like, honestly, we all have different paths. We can't look at ourselves and look at someone else and judge each other. We can't take our journey and set it right up next to someone else's and say, man, I'm failing because I'm not where they are. There are people, like, I've seen that have gone from 0 to 1 million reads like that. For me, it took 2 years to get 1 million reads on Wattpad. And for some people, they've been on the website for 5 years and they only have 1,000 reads. And I know that to them, that feels like a failure. But now that I'm at the 1 million reads, I see people 22 million reads, and I'm like, what? It's like I thought I was I thought it was good. But you're so much better than me. So it's just, and I know that that's like a weird thing, but it's just, you won't get anywhere if you base your entire career, your entire love of something on how many people follow you, on how many people read your stuff. It's nothing. Everyone wants to leave a mark on this world, but they don't realize that they already did once they came into it. Just by having you born into this world, change this world a little bit. Without you, someone couldn't have done something that they were supposed to do. So looking at your life and looking at what you want to do as a career, like let's say you want to do writing as a career, all right? So you look at it and you're like, okay, I think this is pretty good. But you look at someone else's and you're like, oh, theirs is way better. And you look at yourself again and you're like, dang, I need to step up. I feel like that's not something we should do. I have actually had people say that they want to be famous like me. And I'm like, whoa, hold up. No. I am not famous. No. And I go on to say it's not about that. It's, that's not what you want, because it's empty. And I don't want them going down that path, because look at all the people who have wanted to be famous and just can't get enough of it. It's like a drug, and drugs actually deteriorate your body. They put stress on your body that shouldn't be there. They make your brain chemicals all wonky. You don't want that. You want to be able-minded. You want to be sane, and you want to you want to know what you're doing. You don't want to be like, oh my gosh, these people are doing this thing, so I'm gonna do it too because it's getting so much attention. You know, like I could write books about things that are wrong because I know that they're super popular, especially on these writing platforms with little kids or people in high school and teenagers. To me, that's not stuff that we should be reading and stuff. So I stick to what I think. I don't want cussing or that stuff in my books because I don't like it. I don't think that people should be experiencing that through a book, through someone that they actually admire. And that's just me. Whereas someone else, they could write all that and be like, yes. But I've tended to notice that that is what people are looking for. Whoa! I know I seem like I'm getting off track. It's just, you don't want to do things because other people want you to. You want to do it because you do. So if you're looking for a career in writing, write with your heart and don't worry about how good it is. You can always edit. Or be like me and just edit once and then just throw it out there and be like, oh crud, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Let me reel that back in so I could just re-edit it real quick and then put it back out there and be like, oh shoot, I missed a few things. Besides the point, I just want I want my friends on Wattpad that are feeling so let down by themselves in their own books. I want them to try not comparing themselves to other people. I want them to try and look at their own stuff and be optimistic about it, be positive, and actually believe they can write something worthwhile. Something that'll change lives. Because when you believe that, then you can. I was there at that point. I still kind of am, but it just comes with the job of it. And I really, really, really don't like comparing myself to people because I know better, but I still do it. And getting out of the habit of that is really, really hard. Because you look at all these people and you're like, man, I want to be right where they are right now. Why am I not? But you have to look at where you are and where you've been to figure out where you're going. Does that make sense? I don't want you feeling like you're terrible, like all your ideas are junk and stupid. If Isaac Newton, if people thought his idea was stupid, we wouldn't know about gravity. Or we would, because someone else would have been like, wait, hold up, I have an idea, there's this thing, it like holds us to the ground, and I call it toaster. So, like, your book could be a gem just waiting to be discovered. It could be a diamond in the rough. Like, there's nothing that's holding you back from that except for you. And if you look at your book and you're tired of it, figure something out. Because if you ever come to a stopping point at your book and you're just sitting there like, I hate this so much, I don't know where I'm going with it, and I don't know what I want to do with it, then change something. Don't go back and change something, because what you've written is the basis of what you need to keep it going. Because if you think about it, if we did that in everyday life, we'd all be dead. We would all given up. We would all died and killed ourselves. So you don't want to give up on a book before it's breathed its life. Well, that made no sense. You don't want to give up on a book after it's breathed and it's still in progress of it being made. I was about to say something controversial, but I'm gonna stay away from it. Just don't give up. I don't know how much of this got through to anyone, or if you even stayed for the video, because it's 17 minutes long, and I'm probably not gonna edit it. But I really, really, really want everyone to know that they are here for a reason, and if that reason isn't what you originally thought, then that's okay. You can still do what you love to do, just I believe in you. And there's always purpose to whatever you do. There's always a purpose. Alright, I'm gonna go because this is 18 minutes long now, and everyone's probably stopped watching, and everyone just wants to see the cats. That's pretty much it. That's why you're here, right? You want to see my cats. You want to see Bo and Miss Piggy. They're both in the box over there making a bunch of noise. Isn't that right, Bo? Yeah, looking yourself. Bo! Alright, I'm going. I promise. That probably made most sense. I just dropped that, and I said Mo instead of no. So, I'm gonna go, even though I've said that about 3 times now. I guess I just kind of want to sit and talk. I don't know. I don't want people getting discouraged. Because what you write could change someone's life. It might not change someone's life right now. But maybe 50 years from now, or maybe after you're, like, dead, it might. Shakespeare's still changing friggin' lives. He's great. And hilarious. So, don't give up. I believe in you.